Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We got a nuts and bolts video today. We're gonna take that off. We're gonna put stuff in there. We're gonna service the rear differential. This is an 06 Ford Excursion with a 6-liter diesel in it. Rear diff fluid's pretty dirty, so we're gonna do a cover off service. Super simple, just kind of walk you through how it's done. So we gotta take all the bolts off the cover. We got to pry the cover off because they're siliconed on. Clean everything, wipe everything off, reseal the cover, fill it back up. So let's get started. So a lot of Fords, it's actually a 1/2-inch socket for these bolts. Believe it or not. Just gotta take them all out. And something I like to do is loosen the very top bolt. Just take it out halfway. That way when you pry the cover loose, it can kind of hang on there while it drains fluid out. Just go through every one of these. Okay, now we gotta grab I'm gonna use a gasket scraper that I have. Something like this, you can wedge in there under the cover. So the silicone out of the way. I'm just gonna try to pry that cover open. Just like that. And it splashes everywhere and makes a mess, and it's gear oil, so it stinks. Let that drip dry. Got that. Take this upper last bolt out so we get the cover all the way off. There we go. Something that gets neglected a lot with people who generally save work on their own stuff. Don't take vehicles to a shop to get serviced. They don't think to look at stuff like your differential fluid, stuff like that. So. Something to keep in mind if you do your own maintenance on your own vehicles. And it's a great time, when the cover is off, to inspect the differential. So if you look inside of the carrier, you can see all your spider gears. I did not leave this in neutral, but that's okay. I'm not super concerned they have any issues, any complaints or anything. It's just a good time to look. So this is a traction lock axle, which means I need to go get some friction modifier. I'll show you what that looks like. So if you look, here's our carrier. If you look right here, you can see right there, you can see in there, not little clutch packs. So that means this differential is going to take some friction modifier when we fill it back up, which I believe I have some in stock. I'm gonna have to double check that. Okay, so this is the friction modifier for Motorcraft Ford that you're supposed to put in these axles when they have like a limited slip diff with a clutch pack in it. So now we have to clean our mating surface here. We have to clean the cover. We'll wash it all off, put some new silicone on it, and put the cover on, fill it back up. Relatively simple procedure. I like to take the razor blade and keep it flat against the cover. Get a big piece of silicone off. Like that. Then I try to scoop as much of this gear oil out of this bottom as I can, so it's not dripping down my sealing surface the whole time. I like to take either a buffing wheel or I like to use a wire wheel. Seems to work better for getting like silicone off. Just go around the sealing surface like that. Like that. Grab some brake clean, close everything off, and get some more brake clean. And yes, it's okay if I tend to try and do this, wash off your ring gear. No, it's not gonna hurt anything. You're not gonna wash the oil out of your bearings or anything. You're gonna fill it right back up with oil. So it's totally acceptable. The way to look at it is the more of the old dirty oil you can get out, the better. But you don't need to get it perfect by any means. It does not need to be completely spotless. So now that is going to sit there and drip and drain and what have you while we clean the cover. We'll come back, wipe it off one more time, and that'd be it. Exact same procedure. We're going to scrape the big pieces of silicone off, wire wheel the cover, and then clean it with the parts washer. Realistically, you don't even need to do this part that I'm doing. The excess silicone that from the last time this was serviced that squished to the inside, you could leave it and it would cause absolutely no problems. But we're going to, because that's what they're paying us to do. If you're doing this on your own stuff, you don't necessarily need to. It doesn't cause any problems. The most important part is your actual sealing surface needs to be clean. Do that. I find that I use a razor blade to clean 90% of the gasket surfaces that I clean. I used to use scrapers and everything else. I talked to a man that owns a machine shop when I worked at the Caterpillar dealer, and he did block resurfacing and used to cut counterbores and stuff like that. And he did so many a day, he used a razor blade. That's all he used to clean the block. So I started doing it and it works great. Make sure your safety glasses are on if you're using a powered tool. Okay, now that we got the sealing surface clean, use spark washer, get all the oil off of it. That's it. Brake clean, whatever you got. Just like that. Nice and pretty. Grab a blow nozzle, we'll dry that off. It looks just like new. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, and I'm going to use this ultra black Permatex silicone. Go around the perimeter of it. I don't even know why they give you a lid for your silicone, because it doesn't matter. Okay, so just go around it with some silicone. It's okay, you don't have to put a crazy amount, but I don't like to go too shy. You can always wipe up the excess after you get it all installed. But you don't want to have too little, have to go in there and do it again. So that right there is plenty. Now we'll get it up on the truck, bolt it up, and be done. Okay, so we'll grab a rag and we'll wipe down the sealing surface one last time. Any dust, or dirt, or anything else on it. Like so. Grab our cover. Get her up in place. Find the blow holes. Try to hold it as still as you can until you get a couple bolts in it and get them snug to where the cover can't scoot around too much. You don't want to tighten all of them, or you don't want to tighten them right now. You want to get 2 bolts in it to hold it and just run them up to where just like that, to where the silicone is between them, but you can move the cover around. If you can see that, how the cover's moving. You want that way you can get all the other bolts. If you go ahead and tighten them up, you're gonna have a couple bolt holes that won't line up. You'll have to loosen them again. Why do something twice, you know? Keep all your axle tags if it still has it on there. It's got information on there that shops and stuff need. All right. Now, if you have any giant globs of silicone, it's a good idea to wipe it off. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just try to make it somewhat okay looking. Just more professional if you don't have 4-inch silicone bubble falling off of this thing when the customer picks it up. But again, it doesn't have to be perfect. This isn't something that a lot of people see. And the main point is you have it sealed. That's what matters. I like to wash them off, wash the cover off when I'm all done. The exterior part of the cover. Okay. Well, the only thing left now is to get it full. All right, so now we just gotta fill it. First, try to wash off the area around the plug just so we don't drop any chunks of stuff in there. Like I said, get that plug out of there. It's just a 3/8 drive square, so you can just use a ratchet. Make sure you're all the way in the plug. You take it out so you don't round it out. Now this vehicle takes 75 140 gear oil and 8 ounces of friction modifier. So put the friction modifier in first and then fill it up the rest of the way with the gear oil. We have this, but the parts place did not send the nozzle for actually dumping it in. So I have this, that right there is what I used to put gear oil in. We're just gonna somehow make this work. Step that hose in there. All right, that's 4 ounces. One more bottle of this. This stuff also stinks. This actually kind of smells like a burnt gear oil right out of the bottle. If you do not add this friction modifier, you will burn up the clutch pack inside this differential. So you gotta make sure if your axle has it. Sometimes you'll see an electrical connector on the side of the differential, like an electric clutch. Other times, like this time, it's more of a mechanical means, but the best way to know is you look on the side of the carrier assembly and you'll actually see the clutch pack. So, okay. We've got our friction modifier in there. Now it's time to start adding our gear oil. Now we could use that same filler that I just used. Works well on just about everything except for gear oil. It kind of starts to become a big pain in the butt. So instead we're gonna just try to squeeze this in manually because it's a lot quicker. When you get to this thicker oil, the hand pump takes forever. It works great on transmissions and transfer cases, and you can use it on differentials. I have, but this is just faster. So, squeeze what we got in there out. Now save it because you're never able to squeeze all of it out. So don't just toss this ball in the trash because you have gear oil left at the bottom that we're going to use. I wonder if this will work, or it'll pop off of there, make a huge mess. Okay, so see it's all running out now. We've got it full. We'll let that drain a little bit more back out. And that is basically it. It's kind of the standard way of servicing the differential. Some front differentials you can't drain like that. You actually have to put a suction tool through the fill hole, suck all the fluid out that you can. But this one, this is a typical way of doing it. Remember, clean off your fill plug. A lot of times they'll have a magnet on them. And inspect that for any chunks, but ours is good. Fill plug back in. Tighten it up, wash it off. Again, make sure you're seated all the way in the plug. You don't want to round off or round out the middle of it. Okay, wash it off, we're done. Well, viewers, that's it. That's how you service a differential, or at least a rear differential on most vehicles. Not much to it, pretty simple job. Basic maintenance should be done. Even if they say it's serviceable for life, you should always check the fluid. This is pretty dirty. So, but that's it. If you liked it, hit the like button, head down, hit the subscribe button, see if we can find something else to do. Thanks.